Hi everybody, it's Marie. In this video, I am going to do my mid-month wrap-up. I read a little more books than what I thought I was going to this month, so I figured I would split it in half and do half of them now, so I wouldn't have an overly extra long video come the end of the month for my wrap-up. So the first book I read this month was The Red Pyramid, the graphic novel by Rick Riordan. The two main characters, Sadie and Carter, they grew up in different houses after their mother died during a previous event. Father released the gods into the mortal world, and they went on an adventure to put everything back right. I don't normally like reading about gods and goddesses. I mean, yes, they're intriguing, but I find that when I'm reading about them, I get all of them confused, and it all gets mumble-jumbled in my head. I gave this 4 out of 5. I thought it was wonderful. My daughter, however, she started reading it. She DNF'd it pretty much right away, but she has read the Red Pyramid novel, and she just said she found it boring. So I guess for somebody that hasn't read the novel, it was a pretty good read. My second book this month was Design Your Own Day by Claire Diaz Ortiz. This was a self-help book that I got for doing a review. I was quite excited to read this book. It was to help you set better goals and to make you live life on purpose. I can't say I overly liked it. It was filled with a lot of common sense, and even though it started off with that, like it started off filled with a lot of common sense, I thought, well, this would be a nice little book to have, so you can refresh your memory as you're trying to set your goals every year, because we all do it pretty much every year. But during the second half, I didn't find it pertained to me, my life. It was more geared to people that had flexible careers, high-paid positions, something where they could minimize their work hours. I didn't feel like, in the end, it depicted those that were single moms at home or having to work labored jobs or maybe 2 jobs. I really felt like it was just geared to one way. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, basically because the first half was helpful in a way of trying to organize your goals and stuff, and make sure you're setting your goals right. The third book I read was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This book I found was amazing. It consists of 5 short stories. It was done in graphics. The graphics were beautiful but creepy. The description says the stories were supposed to be spine-tingling. I didn't find them spine-tingling, but I did find myself having to turn the page to see what happened next. I finished the book in one setting. I just absolutely couldn't put it down. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. My fourth book was Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This was a graphic novel. I shouldn't have to say too much about this particular graphic novel since I've seen it several times throughout BookTube. But what I want to say is that, I mean, it got adult content, nudity, language, stuff like that. So it's definitely not for children. The graphics I really enjoyed. The storyline was compelling. It's definitely something where I would want to read the second one. Unfortunately, my library doesn't have the second one, so now I'm on toss minds what to do. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. My fifth book was another book that I got to review. It's called Better with Age: The Ultimate Guide to Brain Training by Phyllis Strupp, I want to say. This book is filled with theory and practice. I found that there was more theory than practice. I also was excited to read this book. As you get older, you feel like you're hitting that brain fog, that your brain's slowing down. So this talked about other ways other than doing, puzzle games and stuff like that, and about really how to train your brain and make it healthier. The downfall is like I said, most of it was theory. The theory was easy to understand. It was talking about neurons and synapses and stuff. But I found there was just too much of it. And when I did get to the practice stuff, it was like you flipped right through, and I'm like, whoa, what just happened here? This is also one of those books that you don't want to have on an ebook because there's worksheets involved in it, and there's a lot of flipping back and forth you want to do. So you probably want this book on hard copy. I gave this book a 3 out of 5. My sixth book that I don't have to explain to anybody is Cinder, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles. It's a Cinderella retelling, and it's young adult, and it's sci-fi. That's pretty much all you need to know, because it's been around on BookTube forever. I went into this with not very high expectations because of the credible hype that there was on BookTube, but I found that once I started, Marissa Myers did an excellent job on this book. I fell in love with it. I read this book on audiobook and through ebook at the same time, because if I was doing something that I couldn't physically read, I kept wanting to read it, so then I switched over to my audiobook. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. It's definitely a book that I would pick up and read again, and I can't wait to read the next one in the series. The seventh book that I read was The Daughter of Smoke and Bones, which is the first book in the series, Daughter of Smoke and Bones by Laini Taylor. This book has wonderful reviews. However, I can't say that I overly enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I found that I got confused halfway through the book. I mean, the storyline was very intriguing. It was different on so many ways, but there was just other spots where I just couldn't wait for it to end. Like I'd be so bored, and then there was something that I just couldn't put down, and then I'd be so bored again, and then there'd be something that I just couldn't put down. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I read this book, or listened to this book on audiobook, so maybe that's what it was. I might give it another chance by reading it in a physical book, just because of how wonderful the reviews were. But at this particular moment, I'm rating it about a 3 out of 5 stars. The second two books that I read were Lock and Key Volume 1 and Lock and Key Volume 2 by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Was the start of a graphic novel series. It's about a New England mansion called the Key House. It was filled with doors that transform people into different things when they walk through them. It consists of murder, and there was an unknown person / creature that creates this event that follows throughout these two books. I absolutely loved this series. I freaking love this. I gave both copies a 5 out of 5. It's just dark, and it's got murder, and it's got weird, funky stuff that you're like, what? But it was awesome. And my final book, which is number 10, The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. This is a children's book. It is a wonderful children's book. I was really skeptical going into it because I don't read a lot of children's books anymore. But it is amazing. It has made me laugh. It has brought tears to my eyes. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. It is absolutely cute. This was my half a month wrap up, and I'm hoping my other half is just as good as it was this half. I'm reading 4 books right now, but I'm probably going to slow down a bit because where I started the Company of Killers readathon, which I did a video on earlier this week. So if you didn't catch that and you're interested in that, subscribe to my channel if you want. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. All my links will be below, along with all the links for anything that I mentioned here. Bye!